I'm telling these guys, you're listening to tabloid guys like the guy you just said that says everybody's on it. No, you were on it. You held it for a second, and then you don't look as good as her, and you're the same age.
There's a few things, man. Like the first thing is, I think it allows people to bolster down on their personal belief systems. Like there are guys.
What does that mean?
Greg Doucette. I'm going to say specific names because there are guys like this where I watch their videos. I'm like, you're giving people information, but you're allowing people to believe things that's going to make them not push themselves. So Greg makes all these natty or not type videos where it makes young guys are like, oh, well, yeah, that guy's on drugs, that guy's on drugs, that guy's on drugs.
Right.
There's no wonder why I look the way I do. So there's no reason for me to even try because I got to get on sauce to look like that guy.
What's the point of him doing that?
Well, it gets views.
They all do that.
Yeah, it gets views and engagement. Like that stuff, it really it allows, and people are drawn to it because it allows them to be like, well, that's why I don't look that way. Not because of the work I do or not because of my genetics. I'm not that way because I'm not on TRT or test. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is when we were talking off camera, you were mentioning how when you started working out, the people that were around you, and I think you should talk about this, were some like high level guys that you didn't even realize. And when I came into super training a few years ago, in like 2015, all the guys were lifting more weight than me. But once I got around those guys that are lifting more weight than me, I just suddenly started magically lifting more weight, right? And you've been around elite people since you were a kid.
9 years old, I was first in newspapers, Seattle, Washington, Seattle Times and stuff, because I was doing half marathons. But I was already winning and jacked. And so I got this 9-year-old picture of me going through the newspaper, and I'm like this. And I didn't realize that it was a cool thing about who I grew up around.
He also played soccer.
I didn't play soccer. That's not true. There's no photo. It's Photoshopped. If I want to see guys try to score for 3 hours and none of it, I go out with my buddies to a bar. But what you were talking about is Doug Furness, Doyle Kennedy, and Jeff Magruder. And Jeff was the guy I went down to, and he says, kid, you're too young to have a membership, but this is what I'm going to do. You put the weights away and you can work out here. And he kept testing me. Okay, now that you've done that, let's do the workouts and all that stuff. And then by 14, I was already doing walkthroughs with the old take the person through the workouts. And I was like, okay, we got to do shoulder press, 3 sets of 8. And I was 14 years old. But I was around these guys thinking that these guys were the average. And if you guys go Google any of those 3, you'll realize they were the greatest. And Doug Furness, especially for me, because he was the athlete. He was the fullback, and his records still stand at his college. So it made me, and I'm going to ask you all this. It made me realize when I got older, is like my ceiling was here. The strongest deadlifter, squatter, bencher. That's where I thought. And then I went above it and said, I want to do what they did, but I want to be in great shape like a bodybuilder at the same time. And on top of that, Bruce Lee was one of my biggest idols. I wanted to be athletic and martial artist. Now hold on for a second, because there's a point to this. I took something that, is it possible? I don't know. I think I did pretty well doing gladiators in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and going on 50s. So I've been healthy for a long time and been able to be active. My question is, why did I go, I can do what they did, but better? Instead of me going, well, if they're the greatest, I should be down here. So why do people instantly go, like you said, I'm telling these guys, you're listening to tabloid guys, like the guy you just said, that says, everybody's on it. No, you were on it. You held it for a second, and then you don't look as good as her, and you're the same age. She lifts more than you now. So it's not this miracle thing that you get to keep. It's not that. But why wouldn't they go, I don't care if this guy did or didn't do it, I'm going to be better than him. And try to one up instead of going negative, going, I'm phoning it in, forget it, they're all on it, I'm out. Why do people do that?
I think it just gets attention. And people don't care.
No, not them. Not the people that are doing the bad stuff.
Yeah,
it's because they have.
I love Kenny.
I
love Kenny. Kenny's a nice guy, and I said to him, I said, the point of me trying to pull Mona in there is that you guys give information. Give all of it. Give all the information. It's like there's women out there that are walking around stronger than guys, and they're not on anything. They're females. And you're saying a guy can't be somewhat muscular? It's like, you guys look for excuses. And that was my point of bringing Mona in there going, listen, you're on it. You're a young kid. You're 20 years younger than her. She just had a kid. Show your body. Show your muscles. And that was the point of pulling it in there, trying to show these guys and go, there's some kids out there that I'm going to reach that are in, small towns, and they're going to be the genetic freaks. Like, I'm going to meet a genetic freak later today.
Oh, yeah.
But those kids go, I'll be the one. Where the majority of society goes, no, I want to hear the excuse so I can phone it in.
Power Project family, this clip is brought to you by cocaine. I mean the cold plunge, because they pretty much do the same thing. Enjoy the clip.
Can you guys tell me why humans do that?
I can't even really imagine, because like I'm just thinking about like when I started lifting, I was in a similar culture that you were in as well. And I think some of these people that make some of these posts online, they do get a following, they do get some people behind them, but I think a lot of it is like you're saying, a lot of it's a lot of young kids, because the young kids just started their journey. They've been lifting for a few months. They didn't really see a big difference yet, because maybe they haven't stuck with it long enough. They probably just haven't been consistent enough yet. But what happens if you double down and start to go all in rather than only making it twice a week and missing a week and so forth? What happens if you go 4 or 5 days a week and you do that for 3 months and you have a powerlifting meet coming up and you have a plan and a program and you start to eat better, you start to sleep better? A lot of the gains and stuff like that, they're going to come super fast. And as soon as they do, other people are going to say, you can't do that at 15 years old. That guy's got to be on steroids. Right. They'll start accusing you. I mean, I'm sure you've been accused since the time you were young.
I was 16, yeah.
I was 16. Accused when I was really young. I didn't start till I was 12, but everybody thought I started when I was 11. Steroids, that is. No, I'm just kidding.
I was accused when I was pregnant.
Yeah, a little growth hormone for Titan, right?
Titan, yeah. Tren milk.
No, I've had people, they always want to talk, the steroid thing. And even now, many years later, after Bigger, Stronger, after I said my piece, after I said, yes, I do use performance-enhancing drugs, and I still use them today, I am very open about it. But even when I post something about my diet or post something specifically, like here's what I'm doing for running and here's what I'm doing with my lifting and they're like, well, it's easy for you to say because you're on stuff. Right. There was a time when I wasn't on stuff. And when I was in my 20s, when I first met Mike, I was still in shape. I was still strong. I wasn't completely ripped or shredded, but that was not the main focus at the time. I was playing football and doing some other things. If I put my energy into that, I'm not sure exactly what would happen. But when we first met, it wasn't like I was tiny. I was probably 215. So I was only, 20 pounds, 15 pounds lighter than I am right now. So I think a lot of people, they don't understand what you can push yourself to. We don't have any idea of what the limits are.
We're going to find out, though.
I just saw a post the other day. I sent it to you guys. The guy was saying that all of the times for women in track, 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, this guy thinks they're all drug induced because they're from the 80s and no one's ever even come close to them. But what it makes me think is like, okay, well, there was a lot of records that have been broken in other track. And so are you saying that the men's records are somehow more legitimate? Like, did they get tested more rigorously, or, you know what I mean? So like,
we're missing something here.
Right.
we're missing something in the discussion because of the fact that I think there's a portion of society that says, I don't need to do it, and I can throw it on steroids. Okay, you can say whatever you want about me. I'm on it, not on it. But it seems like an excuse because I'm not relevant to your life. I'm not relevant to their life. So it doesn't matter if I did or didn't do it. What matters is the possibilities of what you can create for you.
Yep.
And they keep going, no, it's this.
Yeah, but
but hold on, because the point is, they can say whatever about me. I've been in the magazines forever, but they can't say that about her. It just went through a pregnancy and looked the same before, during, and after. It's like, wait a minute, you can't. A woman can be on steroids and have a baby. I mean, that's just so nobody's going to say that. Not any human. No tabloid guy's going to go. No, you can be. You can't be, especially at her age too. That was another thing. You know, we're old in society's standards.
How old are you, yes, by the way, so people know?
I'm mid-50s.
You're mid-50s.
I'm
Do you mind?
I'm going to be 47 in 2 weeks.
And I mean, can the camera just hit both of them real quick? Like,
kinda.
can we just do the?
Hey,
I'm taking the shirt back off.
like just settle down. No reason to get hyped.
This is it's they keep going to that. Drop that. Because I think, and I think you are 100% at this point. Tell me if I'm wrong. You want to keep what you have and make it a little better in a productive way, a useful way of less pain waking up and more active and more movement. Is that right?
Yeah.
So the point of, and you want to keep what you're doing. That's why you've done what you did. And it's also, why would you want to change? It's like a beautiful physique already. You walk around like a Greek god. Society thinks that you get to keep this stuff. If you're going to do it, I don't care. Do it. I know.
But
doesn't
they
change
don't
my
know.
life. But just know the full consequences of doing it and not doing it. You're going to look great for a moment. But if you're a kid, if you're in your teens, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you're such a young pup that your body's working so productive for you. You know, and you guys can speak about this. A teenager doesn't need to do that stuff.
It's not going to necessarily impact you being bit by the iron bug and wanting to go to the gym every fucking day. Right? That's the thing I think that's missing, is that you need that habit.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take steroids, it's going to be super helpful if you are already addicted to lifting or exercise in some way. So with or without them, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think that people like to hold on to the limiting factors. And even with some of what we're saying right now, people are like, yeah, but Mike, you're still on shit. You know, like they'll still go back to that. But there's zero, like, let's just say that all of us on this show, let's just say we're super obsessed with getting out the truth.
Right.
What truth would it be? What test would it be? How would we do it?
Well,
and even if we did do it, what would people say? They would be like, well, Mark paid for it and those guys are friends.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean,
He's off
there's
cycle.
He's off, so he's down.
there's not anything we could do, because people will still say, oh, even the Olympians, those guys are on shit too. And they figure out ways of passing the test. So there's no way to, for us to share something that people would be like, oh, that's cool. He is natural after all.
So
Peeps, we love bringing you all this fitness information, and we also want to help bring that information to more people. So if you could help us out, hit that red subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, and we'll continue to bring you the heat. And I won't whisper in your ear. Talk to you guys later.